Game 2 of this new crowdless world of the NRL. And this afternoon we have the added impact of scorching hot conditions as the Dragons and Panthers meet at Kogarah. There's the Panthers. Not perfect with their social distancing, neither the Dragons, but plenty of precautions have been taken here in the southern suburbs of Sydney. Last night I got a little loose in the first half of the Cowboys-Bulldogs clash as the players got used to the unusual surrounds. Points did dry up in the second half, but we'll see if the heat makes scoring even more free-flowing. The Panthers coming off a stirring win last Saturday against the Roosters. They did their best work in the second half. Trent Barrett, the new attacking coach at the Panthers, in the background there. And Penrith, this is incredible. They have only been 2-0 just 6 times in their 53-year history. Can you believe that? Only 6 times they've started a season 2-0. And Mick Ennis, the pressure is on this team, the Dragons. They let one slip last week against the West Tigers. And 0-2, not the place any team wants to be.
No, certainly not, given the season that they had last year. And you're right, Dan, a disappointing performance for the Red V last week. A game they really should have won. They had 7 genuine opportunities that they didn't ice and come away with the 4 points. And that man there, Matt Duffy, he returns to the side. Interesting, you know, last year, Dan, missing the last 7 games for the Dragons in their run home and looked to be out of favour, to be honest, languishing in reserve grade for the back end of the year. And from all reports, was wonderful throughout the pre-season. Terrific in terms of his attitude and his training ethics. And with one injury to Ravalawa, he is forced to reshuffle in the back line, where we'll see Dufty at fullback and Zach Lomax going into Ravalawa's position on the wing. No Tarek Sims this evening either. Fui Mayono, Tyrell, he comes into the back row. And that man there, Corey Norman, in the bleach blonde hair, hard to miss. I want to see from the Dragons halves tonight. I want to see them take the line on. I think they're 2 very, very good instinctive players and have just sat back and just gone through the motions and playing to structure. I want to see Norman carry the footy in the first set. Something that this side did tremendously last week, in particular Cleary and Luai. That combination really capitalised on the go forward of the likes of Tedavano and Kikau and Fisher-Harris in particular. And so they're going to need to be strong, the Dragons, to handle the middle forwards of the Panthers here this afternoon.
Just one change for the Panthers. Jack Hetherington suspended, so the very highly regarded youngster Billy Burns joins the Panthers bench. They don't have a good record here at Kogarah at all. They've won 4 games at this venue since joining the competition in 1967. But I think, Mick, we can just throw all these stats and history out the window, and there's no crowd when it's so unique. Obviously, home comforts for the Dragons and familiar surrounds. And this is a nice touch by the Dragons. They put out a call to their members and their most ardent fans, and these were collected today, the fans bringing those in. Now, I'm not sure if there was any editing, Mick, and some of the more provocative signs are downstairs somewhere, but that's a lovely little touch. Creative minds, that's what we need here, just to spice things up in these unusual times.
Yeah, unique time for the game, and you're right, touches like that make it all that more special. As we see the Panthers coming on to Kogarah Oval. And watching last night's game, the ferocity and that competitiveness went straight to another level. I thought as soon as the players got into the contest, yes, unique, that there is no crowd here, but the product still on television is first class, and it is going to be one hell of a battle. This man will be in the thick of things. Superb last week in his return to the Panthers, coming up against his former teammate Isaac Luke, who gave him the opportunity to win a premiership at South Sydney with his suspension. And he will be dynamic as ever, I would imagine, in these warm conditions and fatigue sets in around the ruck. You see James Graham and the leaders, Frizzell, laying down the law. They need a response.
Yeah.
And it needs to be a big start for the Red V.
You could never call a round 2 game must win. You could never do that. That's almost irresponsible, but it does feel like they have to make a statement here tonight. They've got, I know you were looking at the draw, they've got a tough run to come in the next few weeks, so this is a big afternoon for them.
A huge afternoon, you're right. I mean, it's been a disappointing 12 months for the Dragons, and the last few seasons fading away at the back end, and they really need to find points early to make sure that they alleviate that pressure. And one man who led the way last week, captain here this afternoon, Tyson Frizzell, he was in tremendous form to start the season. 165 running metres, 80 minutes, 2 line breaks. What a player he's developed into. Plenty of conjecture around whether he will be in the Red V next year, but for the moment, he is the captain, and he will need to be strong.
And they have the advantage of a pretty stiff breeze in this first half. There's Matt Duffy, his 50th NRL game. It's been a roundabout way to get there. His 4th season, 16 games last year. He gets another crack.
Yeah, Dan, I'll be interested to get Blocker's thoughts down on the sideline. We were down there earlier, 35 degrees it was, and there was a really stiff breeze, as you were talking about. So I haven't been down there for about half an hour, 45 minutes, so it'd be interesting to see whether that has settled. But it was certainly behind the Dragons.
So we're still getting used to this new world, but we march on. And it's the Panthers to receive as Friday night football kicks off here on Fox League. Zane Tedavano. He's the first to hit it up. Only 21 minutes last week. He had the one stint at the start of the game against the Roosters, and then we didn't see him again. He battled a knee injury, but passed a fitness test and returns tonight. James Fisher-Harris, what a machine he was against the Roosters. He's turning into one of the Panthers' most important players. James Tarmo into 4 defenders. One of the added advantages of this unusual environment we live in is you can really hear the hits.
Yeah.
And just the crunches and the noises, the sounds of the game, which we'll hone in on a little bit later. Penrith march it up over halfway before Luai puts up a high one. Nice catch by Duffy, although he has nowhere to go. Let's go down to the sideline. We're sitting in the shade, thankfully, the great Steve Blocker-Roach.
Yeah, thanks, boys. There's going to be a drinks break here this afternoon after 20 minutes. The Saints doctor went out about 40 minutes ago. The temperature, Mick, was 36.4 degrees. I think it's cooled down a little bit now.
Thankfully, we've got shadows now covering about 3/4 of this Cogra Oval. It's still very warm indeed. Blake Laurie, young man who is called Blocker in these parts. Now Graham gets it up over the halfway line here as the Dragons get through their first set. So Norman goes the end-over-end kick, and it's Caleb Aikens in his 6th NRL game. Right, heavy bump there.
Yeah, right into your lounge room seat there. The contact from Blake Laurie, the man they call Blocker. Good start for both sides, just trading blows, nice and controlled, and this is what we saw a lot of last week. The injection of Mansour and Brian To'o, who were tremendous, taking plenty of energy out of the middle third of the forwards with their strong carries. Farah now up towards the halfway line.
Farah only ran it twice last week. That's a nice first run from him tonight. And now Tedavano, the galloping Tedavano, up to the halfway line where he runs into James Graham. So Cleary this time with the end-over-end bomb. Duffy coming forward, but an easy one for him to catch. And a steady start from both sides here at Cogra Oval. The Dragons, not a great record here in recent times. This used to be a fortress, as did Wynn Stadium. 2-3 here at Cogra in 2019. Tyrell Furumayono playing against his former team. Only cracked the Panthers side 7 times in first grade last year. Little dart from Laffey. Laurie in the middle here. So the Dragons again just sneak inside Penrith territory as they end in their set. Norman finding the grass. And Aiken steadily brings it down. What we might do here, we are going to just take a leaf out of the book from our brothers at Fox Cricket, and we're going to have a listen in these unique times, and we don't get many opportunities to do this, but let's pump up the sounds of the game. Mick, you and I will just stay quiet for a few minutes and let's enjoy.
Ball onside.
Move now! All the way, Zane. Hold, James. Hold him, Rappy. Hold. Go.
So there we go. We might do that again later on.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Just to hear the amount of conversation going on out there. You could hear the Dragons screaming, run shape, careful of Penrith running the ball on the last, and at the same time, Penrith responding with plenty of energy. Let's get out from marker. Let's get out from marker when Laffey was carrying the ball.
Here's Graham with the pass of the line.
Great tackle, kick out.
He read that play perfectly. It's going to be a penalty, the first of this game. We're in an arm wrestle for the first 5 minutes, but it'll be the Dragons who will get the first opportunity to do some attacking here at Cogra.
Yeah, really nice patience from the Dragons. A lovely ball there from James Graham. We all know how capable he is with his short passing game. A nice ball there to Laurie. This was the kick from Cleary. Graham in there putting pressure on. Now Fui Mayono.
Hasn't started a game in the forwards for 3 years. He was good last week. And there's Graham almost up to the 30. Now Norman. Vaughan.
Yeah, this heat taking a lot out of the players, Dan. You can see James Tarmo and Fisher Harris already struggling to get onside.
Now Norman goes right to Hunt. At the line, Dufty. Luai all over that, so was kick out. Norman again, first receiver. And Hunt again, second receiver. The cutout ball for Pereira. He cuts inside Cleary and gets a pass away. Laurie. Across the 10-metre line. It's almost as if they didn't have their chances last week, the Dragons, even though they were beaten. Now here's Hunt. Frizzell. Almost there. And a changeover on the last. Dean Farray. A try-saver.
Well, for all money, you thought the ball from Hunt right on the chest of Frizzell on the outside shoulder of Cleary. Gets rid of him. And he looks certain to score. What a one-on-one tackle there from Farray, bringing him down only inches from the line. What a tackle.
That's Tyson Frizzell he brought down. That's a tremendous tackle there. Good contact on Mansour. Aikens nowhere to go here. There's no doubt the Dragons are up for this game. Shouldn't be surprising considering they are coming off a loss. Plenty of energy from them early. Short side play for the Panthers. Kick out.
Beautiful.
Naden. Now Mansour flying down the sideline, but he's got no one to give it to at the moment. And he'll just succumb to the tackle. And that gets Penrith to their last.
Hold, James. No, James, you went early.
Oh, Luai, he turns the winger Lomax inside out. Then keeps it going to kick out at close range. Here's Mansour inside the 10. Still going. Coruscant steadies, kicks. Here comes Pereira lost it forward. And that's going to be Penrith ball. The Panthers get a result with their first chance.
Well, a beautiful short side raid it was from Jerome Luai and Coruscant. Then the short hands, the Mansour down. Lucky not to be a sin bin there, Tim. Laffey holding Naden back. And then the kick across field from Coruscant on the back of a number of offloads and flying high was Pereira. Couldn't hang on to it. And then desperation there from Willie Army, Ivan Cleary, riding every moment.
So once again, the attacking team went close to the line, choosing to pack the scrum centre field. They've got 4 players on the left, the Panthers, and 2 players on the right.
Where's kick out?
Dragons only have 3 defenders on the left, and the big fella is out there, so it's a 4-on-3. Oh, the big fella had to hold it in. Just that little stutter cost momentum. But a full set here for the Panthers. There's Luai to Coruscant. Fisher Harris, the machine. Last week, Penrith scored all their tries on the left side of the field against the Roosters. Coruscant comes to the open right. Tedovano to Cleary. And now Aikens chiming in. All handled there by the Dragons as Penrith open up the left side. Now Tedovano, straight and hard. Takes 3 to bring him down. Try line in front of him. Coruscant. Oh, Coruscant! Coruscant! Somebody stop him. He's picked up from where he left off last week. He had them fooled there, an extravagant step, the dummy, and Penrith get the first try.
Well, it started with this man with the short side raid only moments before, and then the kick across field to get the repeat set of 6, and the little number 9. He is in tremendous touch to start 2020. Little show gets rid of Graham. Duffy caught in the line and just too strong. Just too strong close to the line. Then gets his side off to a great start and a 4-pointer for the Panthers. Boy, Coruscant, hasn't he hit the ground running? He's a good player, Dan. I've had a huge rap on him. I always found him difficult to play against in his early days. His ability to be able to hold a marker and create space in behind the play the ball. You were always on your toes as a defender and as a marker in particular, but his running game is lethal. He is so strong, and an invitation that close to the line is just too good to resist. He is in good touch.
It's funny, timing is everything, because Manly had their future set on young Manasi Fainu.
What about the Bulldogs?
That let Coruscant go, and then obviously Fainu has his issues. Then they were left without a hooker. They ended up getting Danny Levi, but what a pickup for Penrith.
He was going to the Bulldogs, and then Penrith jumped over the hurdles late and sniped him. Well, what an inclusion.
It's an early contender, a very early contender for buy of the season. Nathan Cleary, perfect last week. Straight through the post here. Down to you, Steve Roach.
I think it's a good point that Mick makes. He's so strong, but he's only a little fella too. But just watch the way he can duck under tackles. He's very good at it. He's so strong, doesn't lose any momentum. Look at that, duck unders, straightens himself up, gets in between a couple of players, and Penrith, the first time they've really been down the other end, get across the stripe.
Don't you think he just looks at home? Penrith just looks like him, doesn't it? I mean, he was tremendous last year, and I thought, I've said a number of times that I thought he really unlocked DCU's qualities, and he's already having that impact with Nathan and Luai, but geez, he looks at home back in his Panthers jersey.
Oh, a deep kick. Touch judge was looking there intently at where that back foot was planted. Penrith off the blocks here. It's the first try. Fisher Harris there.
Great carry.
Heavy contact here.
They need to be careful, the Dragons. They conceded the most metres of any side last week, up over 1,600, and already in these opening 4 plays, already up towards the 45-metre line. As Fisher Harris charges and fights and resists and gets to halfway.
Coruscant to Tedovano. Captured by Graham. And Laurie there as well. So Cleary. Oh, taken late here by Graham. The assistant ref had a good look at that, but cleared it as a legal tackle from Graham. Certainly legal. There was nothing untoward about the contact. It's Jordan Pereira now. The Dragons starting winger for the first half of last year, lost his spot, then picked up an injury, but here he is back in first grade. Good effort in this set here by the Dragons to get it back.
He's hurt himself, Willie Army.
Frizzell taken as the last is called. And the conservative kick here from Norman. And that finds the line just outside the 10, so that just gives everyone a little bit of a break. As Steve Roach told us, there will be a drinks break at the 20-minute mark, but the Army trying to hobble back. I'm sure the players will appreciate the little breather.
Yeah, it was a really strong set, particularly from the outside backs of the Dragons, getting in behind the ruck, and these big Panthers forwards struggled to hold the momentum. And on the back of that, an interesting kick from Corey Norman, finding touch. I would have liked to have seen him keep the ball in. when they've traded sets with the Dragons, with the Panthers, the big men have really been gasping for air in these warm conditions. And finding touch gives the big men just the breather they're after.
They certainly won't want Williami to have to go off because they don't carry the Dragons outside back on the bench like so many teams do. Now that ball has come out here for Coruscant. Gets it up beyond the 30. Good start to the set for the visitors. Tedavano.
Penalty after the held call. Penalty after the held call.
Don't need us to tell you what happened there. It's Penrith to go on the attack again. Well, this is danger signs now for the Dragons. They have to hold their line here. Tedavano getting up now. Tamo. Up to the 20-metre line. Plenty of tackles here to attack. Coruscant with the show, then the pass for Cleary. Now kick out. Handled reasonably well so far. Now Cleary. Yo. Tremendous last week against the Roosters. Tamo first receiver. Cleary at the line. Oh yes, Nathan Cleary. He's one of the best halves in the business at taking the line on so close to the line. And he makes it 10 points to 0.
Yeah, well, we just spoke about the influence that Appy Coruscant has had on Nathan Cleary as we see Ivan there barking instructions. And it was a lovely interchange, a short pass through the centre third of the field that opened up some space on the outside of Fui Mayono. And it was Nathan Cleary who just accelerated and showed great strength. And what a start as well for Nathan Cleary, not only this afternoon, but in his 2020 campaign. Good signs, the young halfback running the footy.
Yeah, good try-scoring record against the Dragons. He was actually Penrith's leading try-scorer last year. Not often a halves player takes that little honour. Cody Walker did it for South, but it's pretty rare. Yeah. 10 tries. He did score 4 in the last round against Newcastle, but geez, you don't want to give him space close to the line.
What I liked there, Dan, on that sequence was just the control that Cleary had. I could see him pulling his forwards out of the way. Often we see teams ball playing with their forwards inside that 10 period. They went bang into Hunt, moved the Dragons forwards around, then went right, went bang straight into Corey Norman, moved their forwards around again, and then came back with that short interchange of pass, and that opened the space for Cleary. It was terrific play from the Panthers.
So here's Nathan Cleary. He's got 8 points so far this afternoon, adding to his impressive overall tally. Have a look at this. Nathan Cleary is already the 4th greatest scorer in Penrith Panthers history. He's 22.
Wow.
He's got Michael Gordon in his sights. Long way to catch Gertz and Brandy, but he is well and truly on his way. Nathan Cleary. Down to you, Steve Roach.
Well, he's coming of age now, isn't he? No Maloney anymore. Maloney used to demand the football. Now we see Nathan Cleary as the boss hog at the Panthers.
Got a term you hear often on a football commentary, boss hog. And that kick close to the line once again as Mansour brings it back. It was often talked about, Cleary and Maloney combining.
Good run.
That is a tremendous start to this set here. It's Brent Naden. Kick out. Look at Penrith, they're within 10 of halfway on tackle 3.
They haven't made an error yet either, Dan. Completed the first 8 sets of the afternoon, and in these conditions, a huge bonus.
Looking to short side, far 8. What an excellent set after posting points. Cleary looking to use whatever sun is left here.
Wow.
Oh, what a catch! Mansour needs to give it, finds Naden. Scrambling defence, somehow stops the try. Well, Cleary found the part of the ground where the ball was up in the sun for a short time, and Mansour was on his own. Dufty and Lomax, they were caught in no man's land. And now look at Penrith. Oh, that's good contact. Yeah, they might have loaded up Penrith, but it's always hard to bend Paul Vaughan back.
They might have a look at a 20-40 here. No, outside the 20 now.
That's a good run by Frizzell,
Wasn't it?
they've still only got 2 tackles left here. Luke Graham. They got out of that, the Dragons. There's a good recovery. And now Luke miscues, disappointed with himself. Aikens with room. And Penrith start this set just 10 metres short of halfway. We're approaching the drinks break here. The Dragons must keep Penrith out. Already bad enough, they're down by 12. Aikens again, he's always busy. Now, top. Oh.
Move, James! Work, Blake, ball square. Hold, Isaac, hold.
Far 8. It's into Frizzell.
Work it, James. Go, 4.
Now, Tedavano, he's certainly got some work in this first stint.
Work it, Blake.
That is his 9th run. And Cleary again puts it up in the sun. It worked once. This time Lomax catches it, but there was a Panther taken off the ball. The pressure to mount up here for the Red V.
Yeah, under pressure and starved of possession. It's just a silly one. This one from Lafayette clearly takes Naden out. Unnecessary contact there. And they are gifting the Panthers opportunity to attack their line. Yeah, just keep an eye on the Panthers loading up this right side towards Norman to go back to find kick out opposing Ben Hunt.
Penrith have had just 7 tackles inside the Dragons' 20 for 2 tries. This is a monster set. Tamo. Vaughan and Luke in the tackle, but both sides open to them. It comes to Cleary on the left. Short ball here. Now the pass is forward from Fisher Harris, and kick out denied a try.
Yeah, they're really pulling and probing apart that right edge of the Dragons. Nathan Cleary again, superb ball playing. Found Fisher Harris. Just watch this. Hunt rushing out of the line, slips over. Fui Mayono.
Jeez, if Cleary bisected Fisher Harris there, kick out might have been impossible to stop. And now we will have the official pausing of the game. We won't be doing this in the second half, by the way. The sun will be gone by then, but still stifling conditions here in Sydney. Penrith, a barnstorming start to this contest. Just picking up from where they left off against the Roosters last Saturday. It all started with Api Coruscant. The show and go that so many, I think, would have predicted was coming, but it was still impossible to stop. And then Nathan Cleary at close range runs through the Ben Hunt tackle to get Penrith second. So tremendous start from Penrith. And the Dragons, a lot of soul searching. Not a noted high-scoring team, the Red V, but they're going to have to find something, particularly in these 20 minutes before half-time, and make sure this does not get away from them.
Yeah, it'd be interested to ask Steve Roach, who's down on the sideline, given that there's no crowd noise blocker, from up here it's just been an onslaught through the middle from the Panthers forwards. How's the communication there? How's the talk levels in that Panthers defense, that Dragons defensive line? They look shell-shocked.
Yeah, Mick, we were talking about it before the game, weren't we, mate? The job of the Dragons middlemen was to try and stop this Panthers side motoring straight down the middle third. I reckon they're unlucky they haven't scored any more points, the Panthers. Yeah. Exactly opposite as last week. They were behind 12 points to nil. Now they're up 12 points to nil. They could have scored a couple of more tries.
There he is, Steve Blocker Rhodes. That blocker, I can assure you, is for Blake Laurie. He's from the same part of the world as our man, Steve Roach, the south coast of New South Wales.
I did see Steve carrying in something to the ground that was rather large, so possibly may have brought that from home, I think.
I've had it for a while, that one.
Don't forget, after we're done here, a belter of a game at Suncorp Stadium. It's the Broncos and the South Sydney Rabbitohs. And you'll see that live right here on Fox League as Friday night football continues. Here Mayono stopped cold. And Norman to Frizzell. Cleary, nice grass cutter there. And Farah up top. Pressure on Hunt. There's plenty of distance on this one. And now Aikens. Well, he's afforded the opportunity to let that go. A little bit unlucky there for the Dragons, and now Penrith get an extra tackle.
The Dragons are only able to make 28 metres that set down, really struggling to get downfield. The Panthers on the other end already up over 500 metres carrying the footy this afternoon. And now 7 tackle set off the kick from Hunt. Certainly.
Have a look at those run meters, more than double. Penrith have only had 3 extra sets. So it's not as if they've had all the ball.
No.
Hold Isaac.
It's been a bludgeoning so far. Tamo. Plenty of post-contact meters there. Inside Dragons territory with a few tackles left. Moses Leota in his 5th year in the NRL.
Work here, fellas. Hold Tyson. Paul, go.
Here we go, down the right side. Oh, he gets past Norman like he wasn't there.
Oh, Dufty!
Intercept, and Dufty. He gets away from Coruscant.
Here comes Naden.
The race is on. It's Tamo gives up. Goodbye. Oh, what a much-needed try. Matt Dufty may have just saved this game for the Dragons.
Well, everything going the Panthers' way, but some genius from this man in his 50th NRL game, Matt Dufty. What a play. And he just plucks it out of thin air. Early ball it was out to Yo, who gets through some pretty ordinary defence there from Norman. Looks to offload inside, and who's there? Little Matt Dufty, and he just accelerates, and the Panthers in full flight chasing, beats Coruscant, who lunges and then streaks into the backfield. What a play, and he gets there, and the Dragons hit back.
Well, that's great stuff there from the Dragons. They needed something, didn't they? It's a long distance try there from Matt Dufty coming back in the side. Nothing better than speed. James Tamo did his best to come across, got nowhere near him. Just a little update, Isaac Luke at the moment is down on his haunches, getting an HIA at the moment on the field. So it'll be interesting to see what happens to him. But the Dragons, that should be the little bit of get-go to get them back into the game now.
What great pictures there as we followed that man to the try line. They looked shot, didn't they, the Dragons? They looked certain to concede their 3rd try. Corey Norman, a terrible miss. But what about that from Dufty? It's raw speed, nothing like it. Lomax, perfect record last year. They were all reasonably close, not as testing as this one. And that's going to fade away. But a much-needed try for the Dragons. As we see here, the pass from Yo. They were 1 pass away, weren't they, from going up 16-0. And something unique tonight, we've got a camera in the home of the Jones family going ballistic. They would be here at Cogra if they could. And, yeah,
good
something
for you to cheer about.
How
good is that?
Sorry, guys, HIA now for Isaac Luke, just leaving the field now.
Thank you, Block. So Billy Britton will join the game. Simon and Sarah Jones there. That's good stuff. Yeah. Some of the most ardent Dragons fans. There's Trent Merrin. That's his first touch.
Now, James. Work here, Nathan. Nathan, hold. Go 3.
Now Lomax chiming in with a run down the middle.
Isaac Luke, yeah, going up the bench, and both coaches have gone to their interchange, Dan. Trent Merrin out there now for the Dragons, and Liam Martin, you can see there he has come on for the Penrith Panthers.
Strong first tackle on Vaughan. Aikens waits. Oh, has an air swing. That got away from him at the death.
Watch it, leave it.
Faray and Merrin in back play there. Having a little set too. Good run from Mansour.
Yeah, he's been good, Dan. He was terrific last week against the Roosters too. Well over 100 metres carrying the footy. And in partner, this man, Brian To'o, as well. Both charging upfield again this afternoon. So powerful, the outside man of the Panthers.
Oh! Strong work from Liam Martin to get out of the Williami tackle. And now Penrith with a bit of a roll on here. Coruscant thought he was being wrapped up by an offside. Trent Merrin. Cleary pokes the kick. Not an easy one for Dufty. Martin got his hands in there. 6 more for Penrith. Faray, he's close. Now gets it on to Aikens. And they've got a full set here, the Panthers. A stroke of luck. And they take advantage. Now Cleary. Fisher Harris. Gonna bore his way through this Dragons wall. Left is where they've had success. Cleary. Naden. Now Luai brings it back to Cleary. With Yo tucking it under the arm. Still tackles left here for the Panthers. Fisher Harris. Cleary. Out the back here for Aikens. Pereira jammed in. Strong work, Williami. Short side. Martin. Clyde lost the ball. And you can hear some of the celebrations there for the Dragons. Again, withstanding some pressure there. And it might have been Corey Norman, actually, that went in for the big shot. Williami was in there with a tackle as well.
Clock's running, fellas. Let's get 6 here now.
And then Norman gets one back.
Righto, fellas. 10 seconds, let's get here.
And Liam Martin made a few boo-boos last week against the Roosters. 4 errors.
Head in now.
I think we'll see more of this, Dan. You see Ivan Cleary down on the sideline, something we see a lot, obviously, from Ricky Stewart, but just his opportunity now, no distractions, no fans, a chance to get down there and interact with their players, get a real feel for the game, and particularly with the new laws around the blue shirt and when they can and can't go on the field.
The Dragons have been pretty much camped down here all first half. That was awkward, but Britton gets up to play it. Norman skips across. Now Pereira with space, trying to burn away from Faray. Here comes Williami. Williami for the line. They've got back-to-back tries. And the Dragons, they're back in business. Corey Norman sets it up. And now we have a contest.
Well, it's a beautiful ball from Corey Norman, and it comes on the back of this right now. Getting across field, draw in. Faray chased hard. He couldn't go with Pereira. Back inside to Williami. And the Dragons, they go back to back. And Dan, it comes off the back of some really strong goal line defence from that man, Corey Norman. And he returns serve with a beautiful pass. And Williami goes over. Now Lomax with an opportunity to put them within 2. Who would have thought? I mean, after that opening 20-minute period from the Penrith Panthers, they have weathered the storm and found a way back in.
Well, Ivan Cleary will be absolutely filthy in the last 5 minutes. Back-to-back tries here from the Dragons. I've got to ask the question, where was the fullback, Aikens? The break was made, and they score the try. They run 30 or 40 metres down. I was just looking where the fullback is. He was out of position, and the Saints go in again.
That drinks break, it's all turned since then. They held their line just before that enforced break because of these oppressive conditions. Now they've got it back to 12 points to 10. Braden Williami. A cruel stat about Williami as we see some more celebrations from Simon and Sarah Jones. And now they've got the dog involved. And see, now the whole family's in the room because they can taste a chance here that maybe they've got a real opportunity. In Williami, 31st NRL game, he's only tasted victory in the NRL 4 times. But he can play. He was a try scorer in the Challenge Cup final and a win for Catalan. He's back in the NRL at the age of 27. So a lot to like for the Dragons in those last 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's just a response I think Paul McGregor would have been after. Obviously not the start that he would have liked, but the resilience that they've shown has been tremendous in the last 10 minutes.
Laffo had the prospect of kick out pouring down at him, but flipped the pass to now Fermaiono gets away. Play it near halfway. Dragons midway through their set here. Momentum has completely changed. Norman surveys.
Yeah, marginally forward, I think, this one, Dan, from Corey Norman. He was tempted by the space out the back. The Panthers' right edge defence was moving up quickly, and at the last minute, look at this, just drifting across, starts to look out the back at the space, and then, yeah.
Let's go, guys.
Just didn't square the shoulders up.
Let's get 6 here.
Spoken about the build-up to these crowdless games, that there is no noise, and will it impact on the referees? Well, there were 13 Panthers who all yelled out forward. And the referee and the touch judge agreed.
Stay in. Tyrell, arm around. Stay in.
Hey, boys, there's time when you got to dig into the line. To see Norman then just running across field, it's player overrun him. You've got to realise that you've got to run. He hasn't run in the first half yet.
So Mansell first to bring it back. Now kick out. Thought he had a serious shoulder injury last week. Came back on the field. A key role in Penrith's revival. Here's Yo. Cleary. The Martin. Driving the Dragons back to the 20-metre line. Good, quick play the ball. Cleary shows it inside and goes out to Fisher Harris. Fuimaono with nice contact. Oh, kick out coming back against the grain on the last tackle. That's a cheap way for Penrith to give the ball back to the Dragons.
Yeah, would like to have seen young Jerome Luai there cut across field and just get the ball into the end goal, try and build some pressure. I thought that's what he was going to do. He went the inside pass to kick out that just didn't find the mark. And a cheap turnover in the end.
That's the impressive Josh Kerr. So good in the All-Stars game. And now a nice start from Britain. He was at the South Sydney club. There's Lomax down in back play. Hunt decides to kick here. Oh, that's almost out on the full. In fact, it turns out to be quite perfect. Lomax clutching at that right shoulder. So Luai with the contact there.
Here we go, fellas. Up we come.
Looks like he's going to try and walk that off and shake it off and remain in the game. Funny old time for Zach Lomax. He was guaranteed the fullback role in the off-season. Paul McGregor was in great pains to say the debate about number 1 was over. And after one match, albeit with Michaeli Ravalawa injured, Matt Duffy gets a crack at the custodian role, and Lomax is back out on the wing.
Jacob, head in, Liam. Let's go. Head in now, Tim. Okay, feed it. Time on. Back. You're right, mate. You're readjusting.
So 6 minutes left in this first half. Just getting home from work. It was all Penrith in the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, mate, sweet.
And hitting it up there. Oh, Leota fends away Billy Britton. Went back reeling. Cleary looking for open space, finds it. Chase here from Faray and Martin. Dufty, nowhere to go as he's pinned inside his own 10.
Yeah, really nice kick there from Nathan Cleary, right into the corner. In behind Pereira, Dufty had to reel across field and pick up the footy.
So the sun all but gone here. That should cool things down after it got to 36 degrees around kickoff time. Roll on here for the Dragons. Hunt. Louis Mayono. Hard to put down.
Square Jerome. Go 10, Jerome.
This time Hunt goes high. Plenty of distance on that kick as well.
Yeah, they've got really loose, the Panthers, defensively. Really loose. Up to 11 missed tackles now. And I only say that because it was a flawless 20 minutes to start the match. But some players, we can see, Fisher Harris.
Hold on. What's happened here? Here goes Tim Laffey. Then it goes on to Lomax. Now, has he put the thing down? Well, this is a dog's breakfast. And John Stone's going to send it upstairs.
I've tackled one. We have a try. You just confirm there's no knock-on in the lead-up from St George and confirm grounding.
So it's Mansour caught in traffic. Oh, yeah, he's got the arm out. Oh, possible Falcon.
The ball's passed backward from Josh Mansour. It's not played at by Tim Laffey.
So it will all come down to the put down.
He cleanly picks the ball up.
Look at the eyes bulging.
Well, Laffey could have scored himself.
And Zach Lomax grounds the ball in goal. We have a decision.
Messy, but the Dragons are in front. This is remarkable.
Yeah, it was a casual put down from Lomax. Josh Mansour coming up with a vital error only moments before half-time.
Penrith have gone to sleep. And the Dragons, who have had less than 40% of the ball, are in front for the first time tonight.
Isaac Luke just coming back out on the field. He's passed his HIA. But Ivan Cleary, what will he be saying to his boys at half-time? They've dropped off, haven't they? Last 20 minutes, worst thing to happen to them was a drinks break.
Well, Matt Dufty's intercept has just changed the tone totally. Tries in the 23rd, 29th, and now 36th minute. 3 tries in 13 minutes. And remarkably, the Dragons on the verge of going into half-time in front, which is where they were last week against the Tigers. So Lomax has had an interesting few minutes. Thought he injured his shoulder, and then he gets one of the easier tries he'll ever score. And now the kick from out wide looks good. Dragons out to a 16-12 lead.
Yeah, well, you said remarkable, Dan. It has been just that. I mean, the Panthers were flawless. They were 10 from 11 in terms of their completions, and now they are only 12 from 17, and the offload there sums up the attitude in the last 15 to 20 minutes. Mansour just throwing the ball in hope. And they have gone away from everything that's worked and invited St George right back into the contest. 16 points to 12. What a hit back from Paul McGregor's men.
Now we've got 3 minutes to go in this first half. That may have just woken the Panthers up. Lomax doing some tough stuff out of dummy half. And Jacob Host. Penrith's completion rate has gone down the drain. And here's a penalty to the Dragons.
Same as the other strip penalty.
Got to take into account, Michael Ennis, I know they had a drinks break, but stifling conditions. There are some very fatigued players out there.
Yeah, what a vital 2.5 minutes here for the Panthers. who, as we see Isaac Luke come back into the fray for the Dragons, who would have thought half-time would have been a discussion of how many. And now all of a sudden they are trailing. Good shot there from Liam Martin.
Kerr getting a little facial treatment from Cleary as well. Hunt back to the right to Norman. Now we're out the back for Laffey. Put down at the 30-metre line here. Post. Supposed to be in the 17 last week, but was left out. Norman. Now for Hunt. Oh, chance! Williami! The basketball pass to Pereira!
No.
Pass, it was on toast. It could have been 4 tries in 15 minutes.
No. What a ball from Hunt. Got Williami on the outside of Farre with ease. With ease. And with the line wide open, he went the basketball pass over the top and got it horribly wrong. And the Dragons, well, they blew some opportunities last week. Boy, did they blow one there.
We're starting to see across the NRL, now we have a ball we can feed the scrum, centres in particular have a chance to go themselves. We saw it with Connor Tracy last week for the Sharks. We saw it at the other end with the Panthers a little earlier. And that final pass just becomes one pass too many.
Spot on.
Imagine if it was 20 or 22 to 12 going into the break. Had a huge lead for the Dragons. But as it is, they've got to be happy with their position considering where they were. Here's Leota.
Great tackle, Ben Hunt. Had to be made.
Risky pass. And Hunt does well. Put Yo down. Oh, again.
Isaac Luke.
And Billy Burns gets up to play it. Midfield bomb. Dufty. Good catch.
Left side all the way. Hold Penrith. Hold left. Hold Billy.
It will be good, Mick, when we get back to having crowds at games, obviously, but it has been fun, hasn't it? Just listening to the sounds of the game. The contact. We know how hard they hit each other, but boy, oh boy, when it comes through the speakers, it's the Dragons leading the Panthers 16 points to 12. That's your halftime score. What a comeback by the Dragons in that first half. Things were looking forlorn. Losers last week, down 12-0 to the Panthers at the 20-minute mark of this game, but then tries to Dufty, Williame and Zach Lomax off a Penrith error. See the Dragons in front, 16 points to 12. A lot to like for Dragons fans there, although their record at hanging on to halftime leads is not that strong. 4-5 since the start of last year. So 9 times they've gone into the sheds in front since the start of 2019 for only 4 wins. And Penrith, we know, over the past few years have been excellent in second halves. But that doesn't take away from an excellent 15-minute stint there for the Dragons when all seemed lost. Michael Ennis.
Yeah, James Graham there, the inspirational leader of the Red V, just laying down the law to his troops who go in at half-time full of confidence. After the onslaught from the Panthers, I thought they really lost their way when James Tarmo and Tedavano left the field. The bench for the Panthers last week against the Roosters was terrific, but boy, did they lose their way. And little Matt Dufty, boy, what a moment it was for him as Isaiah Yeo charged downfield on the grandstand side. It looked for all money that the Panthers were going to extend their lead to 18 before the little fullback just plucked it out of the air, raced 80 metres to score a wonderful solo try. And the Dragons just lifted with confidence. And this next 10 minutes for the Panthers will be a vital one. They can ill afford to get off to a poor start and give the Dragons any more points. They must get back to that power game through the middle. They must get back to that. That is where they dominated, and it was where this man around the ruck just terrorised them, scoring the opening try, and just the little subtle movements and tempo. He just picked his moments beautifully. A little quiet at the last 15 minutes.
Well, we should see Tamo back sooner rather than later. Tedovano's an interesting one. He brought a knee injury into the game and only played 21 minutes last week, but he should get some time in the second half. There's the man that turned it all around, Matt Duffy. Made an early error, but since then, excellent performance. Pretty comfortable under the high ball as well. Don't be fooled by the lights taking over here at Cogger and the sun disappearing. It is still 33 degrees. And we'll check with Blocker. The agreement before the game was a 20-minute drinks break, but not necessarily a 60-minute drinks break. Now, if there's no drinks break and it's still in the 30s, that will make things interesting in this second period, which gets underway. Not a bad weapon to have come off the bench, Josh Kerr.
How good is that, Dan? Just to hear the collisions, hear the discussion right out in the middle, taking it right to the lounge rooms.
And cranking those effects up tonight. And at a venue like this, it really does reverberate, a fairly small venue. It doesn't get lost in big stands. Oh, Dragons get a penalty. Midway through the count, what a superb start, picking up from where they left off.
Oh yeah, nice little forearm right in the face of Tyson Frizzell. Liam Martin mixing it up with one of the country's best back rowers. Here we go. Here we go.
What a set.
Oi!
Liam Martin.
Oh, a little clip over the ear there from Isaac Luke.
Oh, wild pass. Hunt. That's the 40-metre line. We've got the two red lines now, the 20 and the 40. Kerr bending the defensive line back. Duffy chiming in. Now Williami on the run. He's caused them problems out there.
He is, isn't he?
Albeit with a forward pass which cost the Dragons a try just before half-time. That's a nice run by Pereira to get the Dragons towards the middle. Last tackle. Norman to the wing. Here comes Lomax. He got there first, but just couldn't reel it in. Penrith dodge a bullet.
Yeah, he put it right on the spot for Lomax, who was a little infield. Just see him having to adjust his run there. And at full stretch, couldn't reel it in. But the Dragons running with intent, and the Panthers really struggling to hold on.
This is like the reverse of the first half, where the Dragons are struggling to make meters in their set. Steve Blocker-Roach, down to you on the sideline.
Well, Ivan Cleary didn't like the way that his team started to cruise. They completed 10 from 10 in that first 20 minutes. They were on top. You can't just drop off like that with the St George Illawarra side. I can notice on the sideline here, since they've got themselves back in the game, everyone is running a lot harder. So they're up at the moment.
Nice incisive run from Coruscant. Thank you, Block. Cleary on the last goes to the air. There's Duffy again, nice and calm.
Dan, it was about this time last week at the foot of the mountain where Coruscant really started to inject himself into the contest, ducking, weaving and starting to probe out a dummy half and found a way through the Premier's somewhat resilient defensive line. And you mentioned a scampering run there in that opening set. He needs to persist. You know it's hot out there, but he needs to persist.
No, I'm not looking for the pass this time. Oh, heavy contact again. Oh, Fuimeano's pass. Not backwards, but then a late call. And pressure relieved in Penrith. They haven't had good field position for a little while. This will be welcome. Scrum feet near halfway.
Yeah, and Norman not happy with him. Giving him a dressing down. Got his right arm free, just couldn't resist the pass with Duffy coming through in support. And that little late knock on there from Isaac Luke. Trent Merrin there questioning the referee. There you see Norman.
Head in now. Tyson, head in, mate. Tyson now.
Haven't seen a captain's challenge tonight.
Stay in, Tyson. Feed
I think
it.
we'd agree that was
Stay in.
that was one they did well to keep in the back pocket because it looked like a knock on from Isaac Luke. So Bronto carries defenders up to that 40-metre line. Short side, Aikens to Martin. Liami around the ankles. Pereira on top. Cleary scored in the first half when he took the line on. Now Fisher-Harris. Yo at the line. Cleary. Burns. This young man played all the junior rep teams, signed till 2022. High hopes for him. Here's Cleary skipping across. Now Aikens. Oh, right foot step, but Norman hanging on. Last play inside the 10. Far to the open side. Little poke here from Cleary. Dufty work to do. And Penrith force a dropout, a rare repeat set.
Yeah, I like this. Really like this from Nathan Cleary. I thought in the first half they were a little impatient once they started to get their noses in front, just chasing points at will. But this time, great patience, great execution, and a lovely weighted kick from Nathan Cleary. And the chase responds.
Well, let's get a better feel for how these conditions are affecting the players. We're talking up here, Blocker, just reading our temperatures. What is it like on the sideline?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Now the sun's gone down, but it's still 33 degrees. So the interesting thing for me, the last 20 minutes in this game, team that can push the hardest will probably win it.
28 points in the first half, and you fancy those temperatures aren't dropping, then could really open up.
You know it's hot when Steve's got his feet in ice buckets.
Leota, Luai, haven't seen much of him so far tonight. Now Naden. Some of Penrith's weapons have been nullified. Kick out, Fisher-Harris. They can strike at any time. Here's Leota. Down the middle and over the 20. Yo. Kerr with the one-on-one tackle. Cleary back to the middle. Fisher-Harris. Now a problem here, Kerr fell off that tackle.
It looked like a head clash.
Yeah, this has got HIA written all over it.
Yeah, that's concerns. He's a tough man. He spins around here and then, oh, it's the right shoulder, a bicep of Merrin that comes in swinging, collects his own teammate. Yeah, he's in some trouble, Dan.
And doctors will be looking at that, but when a player goes straight to ground, that is usually an automatic 15-minute scenario.
Dan, while I've got the chance, for any young boys or girls that are sitting at home that love rugby league and are a dummy half, just watch the movements of young Coruscant for the Panthers. Just watch his footwork as he approaches the ball and the subtleties in terms of how he's able to manipulate markers, how he's able to move them around just with his subtle little movements. It's a real art, and he has perfected it.
So Kerr,
He'll have to come from the field. He has to. He was in big trouble.
You would think so, and the doctor will be assessing. Either way, we've got a good one here, and after we're finished at Cogra, it's off to Suncorp. What a beauty. Broncos, Souths, two teams that made the finals last year. We know about the Bennett-Seibold rivalry. Both winners last week. How are Souths going to stop Fafita and Haas? How are the Broncos going to stop South Sydney's outside men? There's some mouth-watering clashes. Latrell in the news again. How many minutes will he pump out this week after his impromptu trip up the coast? Straight after Dragons v Panthers here on Fox League. Oh, here's a kick from Cleary, but beautifully read by Lomax.
Geez, Lafoy lucky to get away with that again. Just checking the run of Naden.
Fui Mayono with nowhere to go.
Left side, Billy. Hold.
Billy Burns with the contact there on the centre, Lafoy. Here's Pereira. Good strength there, rode the bump and still made an extra few metres, and no surprise that Josh Kerr
Good run
to sit the next 15 minutes out as Isaac Luke pokes a hole through the defence. And now the Dragons with a roll on the last. The kick here finds the grass. Awkward bounce for Aikens. And the Dragons, who started that set pinned on their try line, have got Penrith inside their own 20.
Yeah, terrific run from Pereira, who's proving a handful. Already up towards 84 metres and a number of tackle busts, but in doing so, got Isaac Luke, who his greatest strength is running the footy, out of acting half, pinched a nice 20 metres and allowed Hunt to kick on the front foot.
Ooh, awkward fall there. That had Penrith players rising, but all cleared. Strong run from Leota. Now Aikens. Martin. Penrith get it over halfway. The set about to come to an end. Cleary tries to kick the belly of the ball. It won't be easy, but Dufty full of confidence now. If you missed it, a scorching length of the field intercept try. He just changed this game completely. 50th game. He's doing a very nice job of locking down that #1 spot. Now here's Paul Vaughan, busy as always. Pretty well contained so far tonight. Oh, runs over the top of Burns. Again, you can just hear the sound effects. Norman's kick from 45 out. And Aikens, you would have heard the footsteps there of Ben Hunt and a couple of other teammates. So similar to the first half, started as a bit of an arm wrestle and then Penrith exploded. It was around this time of the first half. And of course, the Dragons returned serve with 3 tries of their own.
Yeah, what I have noticed, Mick, is the Panthers are dropping off tackles. In the first 20 minutes, they were sticking and they were hitting hard. And they're just sliding off tackles at the moment, given the...
Brent Naden steaming through blocker. Sorry to cut you off, but dawdling at the back there was Dufty. He did not realise that Naden was bearing down. That's a tremendous result. And Dufty had no consideration to poke that ball out until it was almost too late. What a result for the visitors.
Yeah, and what a play from that man there, Naden. With the game in the balance, fatigue setting in, players out on their haunches, he just accelerates. His will to compete, and in doing so, gets his side another set of 6.
Plenty of height on that dropout from Lomax. Leota. Is that the momentum change the Panthers were craving? Fisher Harris into the chest of Fui Mayono. Morris out. Yo.
He might be getting kick out back into the fray.
Spent a bit of time on the bench. Only got through 40 minutes last week. Cleary. Already fooled them once, and that right foot step almost proved too much for Merrin. Aikens. Martin. Well, the Dragons hold their line pretty comfortably. But now it comes down to this final play. Cleary. Oh, awkward, and it's a try! Brent Naden scoops up the ball. And a mesmerising kick has this game back level.
Isn't it funny? And this was the kick chase. Just watch Naden at the bottom of your screen. When everyone else hoped, he accelerated and forced a goal line dropout, and in doing so, Cleary, last play, on the outside of his boot, a beautifully weighted kick, beats Hunt, all ends up, and who's there? Brent Naden.
Do you know Naden deserves that try, doesn't he, after the kick chase? It's a hard thing to do to get down the other end of the field. It's a bad bounce there for Hunt. He slips over. Naden on the spot again. And that might be the lift the Panthers need.
Yeah, just look at the shape of the kick there. We spoke so much about Benji Marshall last week and how he mesmerised the Dragons with his short kicking game, and this week I'd imagine after hours and hours of tape and study, this man who is methodical with his short kicking game comes up with an absolute perler, spinning away from Hunt, bouncing awkwardly, and don't you love to see a player get a reward for effort like Naden?
He's having a good start to the year, isn't he, Nathan Cleary?
Oh, yeah.
That's the puppet master there. What a terrific kick.
I liked the feel of what I saw when I was in Perth for the Nines. When I saw Penrith, they looked fit, they looked athletic, but more importantly, they looked connected. And they've delivered.
Well, if they win tonight, then they've got as many wins in the first 2 weeks as they did the first 10 weeks last year. And they're back in front. Don't forget, Broncos, Rabbitohs. That is coming up next on Fox League. Michael Ennis, who do you like in that one?
Well, I mean, the Broncos last week, there was so much to like about them. I still think there's plenty of improvement left in them, but when you start rattling off the names, as we look at the kick again from Cleary, like Haas and Fafita, I thought Milford was terrific last week. But you never know, the old gunslinger Bennett, he likes heading home sometimes, and that rivalry.
He's unbeaten against Seabold.
I think that's something to be proud of too, just quietly.
I think he enjoys that very much. So that is coming up next live here on Fox League. So Penrith back in front.
Together, Toro! Hold it, fellas. Hold on, Zach. Hold, Paul. Hold. Go.
Ansell with a steady run. Just wonder if there'll be some mental demons there for the Dragons. Beaten badly in the second half last week by the Tigers. I just get the feeling they cannot concede next, even though it is so close at the moment.
He's got a great feel for the game, doesn't he, Nathan Cleary? When to run, when to kick long, when to kick short. Even when they fell behind, he never panicked. He still went to that same trademark kick where he put the ball in the air, kept Dufty under pressure, never looked for a chip and chase, never anything off the cuff. He is just so measured for a young man. Hence the reason why, under enormous pressure in the furnace of origin, he's had success.
So the Dragons, and there you see, putting his shoulder straight into the man for the Dragons, Willie Army. Here's Vaughan up to the 40. Good, powerful run. Hunt having to deal with a surging Billy Burns. Now, caught on the full by Laffey. Furumayono tapped it to Hunt. It's a changeover.
Here we are, fellas. All the way, Dragons. Mark's up here, fellas. All the way here, Dragons. Ball. Hold it, Paul. Left side, hold, Tyson.
So 25 minutes to go. There's a lot of football to be played, but that's a big return for Penrith. Tamo was excellent in his first stint.
Move, Paul. Here we are, Blake. Hold. Go. Hey! Release, Isaac. Here we are, hold. Go to... Oh, you're there, Blake. How now, Blake? Right here, Toro. On the steps. Good, go, 3. Give him room, Blake.
Here's a penalty to Penrith. Have you enjoyed hearing some of the sounds of the game as we take advantage of this rare opportunity to really hear what goes on the field. But Penrith now, back-to-back sets, and a nice imposing run from Jerome Luai. So let's see what the Panthers come up with here.
And Steve Crichton into the action too for the Panthers. A real live wire, super young player. Keep your eye on the 14 for Penrith.
He scored it with his first touch last week. It takes some doing to match that. Here's Tamo. He'll open up the left. That's where Coruscant looks, and that's where he goes. As Cleary changes the direction to Yeo. Back to Cleary. Sizes it up. And now Martin. Oh, he turned Corey Norman inside out. The bodyguard Frizzell, an essential tackle. Now here's that man Creighton. Well handled. Deep pass for Coruscant. And a chance their hand here. Oh, that's come off Leota. And fallen on. What a mess that was for Penrith. There's a bit of confusion there. Were they going to have a crack in that on that fifth play or wait for the last? Whatever their plan was, we'll never know. Dragon scrum food.
Yeah, lovely width on the pass to Coruscant. And just looking to find Cleary there. Went the no-look pass and collected the shoulder of Leota. And they really let the Dragons off there. Poor execution from the Panthers. They'll be disappointed with that.
You can see top of screen there some of those signs that were put up by Dragons staff members. They put out a call to some of their most ardent members. Jersey might need to be replaced for Lomax, and yet the fans turned up. They dropped off their signs, which you'll see in the background when players over on that hillside of the ground. It'll be odd later, that Suncorp game. That would have had 40 to 45,000. Here's a penalty. Now it's the Dragons' turn to pour on a little bit of pressure.
Yeah, and they're keen to get going, and rightly so. They're only 2 points behind there. As we see Kickout really starting to loosen up. He looks like he's coming back into the action, but the Dragons a huge opportunity here. It's Fui Mayono into the contact with Liam Martin again. In fact, it was that time Burns.
Post. Hunt. One baller. 13 Panthers in unison, but the refs don't listen. Norman dishing off for Frizzell. Those three Panthers knew what was coming. Now Jacob Host, the front man. Inside the 10, the Dragons. Dufty poking his nose through. Dufty gets over! Oh, the Dragons are back in front.
If you don't have a try,
it'll be Dufty second
to make it to line
if it's cleared.
As a defender. Okay, mate.
Oh, yeah, I think he gets there. Absolutely, he does. He got low, young Dufty.
Got try.
And he accelerated with speed.
Stoney said.
Well, from our angle in the commentary box, it looked a certain try.
Yeah,
Matt
there it
Dufty
is.
maintains possession of the ball and grounds the ball in goals. We have a decision.
A double for Dufty.
I'd like to give Jacob Host a little bit of a rap there. The speed of the play, the ball, got him on the front foot. Dufty read the ruck quite well there, sprinted on the ball, got down low enough to score, but a rap for the young fella off the bench, Jacob Host.
Yeah, spot on block. It was a terrific line. This is it here. Off the ball playing of Hunt. Leaves young Luai on the ground. A fast play the ball and the acceleration of Dufty, and caught on his heels. Naden just doesn't come off the line. Comes up with a miss, and the Panthers, there you go. They have given them an opportunity with a penalty downfield, and again invited the Red V back into the contest, and now have to somehow find their way to fight back.
Well, the good thing is Josh Kerr is back from the HIA too. He's passed that test. A little bit of a crooked nose there. He's got a bump on the nose. He should be right next week. Keep going there, son.
So Lomax with a chance to put the Dragons 4 in front. I've got to say, Mick Ennis coming here, sort of don't know what to expect in terms of what you're going to see energy-wise. This is as energetic as any game with a full suburban ground. You would not know by just looking at the game that there's no one here.
Well, Cogra would be a light if this was full this afternoon. Yeah, absolutely, they are building each other, these two sides.
Hope you're enjoying it on Fox League. You got the best seat in the house. And Lomax, oh, that comes back. So 4-point contest, a seesawing second half. And we're back to where we were at the break. The Dragons ahead by the 4 points. This is the run Blocker was talking about. Jacob Host is really watching with the excitable Jones family.
Still got 10 seconds.
That's good stuff, that.
Yeah, we can't take it live, Mick, because you just don't know. But
No,
they're
good decision.
Wait, Abby, wait.
the good stuff there. Simon and Sarah Jones and the kids.
Stay on.
One of the daughters comes in and out. She's not really committed to the game. Now that the Dragons are back in front, we might see her in the next shot. So good to have them on board.
James, up now. Hold square.
Well, we've got a game on our hands. This final 19 minutes will be enthralling. Both sides desperate here.
Together now.
Hardly feels like a round 2 clash. Viliami kick out back into the action now as we see Lapai. Oh, good contact.
Now, Jerome. Nathan here, mate.
Jerome Luai steaming up out of the line. Yeah, this is when kick out went berserk last week.
Now, Liam.
That second stint.
Hold Isaiah. Hold.
Now Frizzell. Oh, Moody gets through some work. Although he's been pretty well contained tonight by the Panthers. Just 50 runs before that little burst. So Norman goes with the midfield bomb. And Crichton, comfortable enough. Reasonable field position here for Penrith to start this set. So no drinks break at the 60-minute mark like we had at the 20-minute mark. That was the pre-game agreement. And it is still stifling. We're still in the 30s here in Sydney.
Square there, fellas.
Offside!
Okay, Josh and Trent up.
It is noteworthy, isn't it, how much advice the referees get from the players. Oh, Cleary takes off. Now, Cleary won't be kicking on the last, and the 5'8" Luai does the honours. Dufty, that won't be easy. Oh, Naden rips it out of his hands, but pops it straight back to Ben Hunt. Oh, he's lost the ball, but a penalty to the Dragons.
Oh, sorry.
Wait, Jess.
Little nervous moment there for the Red V. They'll get to march it upfield.
Yeah, that's a coach killer, that one. The detail all week would have been bomb Dufty and give yourself an opportunity with the height of Naden. And the outside backs of the Panthers, they'll back themselves to go over the top of him.
Still yet to see a challenge this afternoon. Be interesting if we had a real slow-mo there of that bomb where the Dufty got his hands to it first and the initial error was a Dragons knock-on. Anyway, we move on.
Isaiah square. Work Isaiah.
Here's Hunt.
Oh, good run. Kerr charging upfield.
He was a shining light in the nines, but then in the All-Stars game, felt like he arrived. Oh, Dufty squeezed. He was sandwiched there. Short side for Hunt. The kick back to the middle. Here comes Norman. He just got it. He needed the bounce. He got the bounce. And they'll check if he's onside, I'm sure.
He doesn't get a hand to the ball to ground.
Rightio, mate. Klein, we've got a try on tackle 5, mate. Check grounding, please. Thank you.
So, I tell you, he
Dragons kick chase is onside.
has been cleared.
Going through to the grounding.
Great kick from Hunt. Ooh. Remember, initial decision, a try.
Yeah, I'm happy with it. They can't overturn that, I don't think. Let me have another look at that. Bounces up. Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Corey Norman grounds the ball in goals. We have a decision.
This lead gets out to 2 scores for the Dragons.
Yeah, it's great vision. And again, it's ruck speed for the Dragons. And down the short side, Ben Hunt sums it up beautifully. And that combination with his halves partner comes to fruition. A beautifully executed reverse banana kick back into the centre field. And the bounce set up perfectly. Watch this, Luke out of acting half. Players left on the ground just far too quick. And Hunt recognising that Stephen Crichton, the fullback, out of position. And Corey Norman, he just swooped.
Well, that's a set play, isn't it, Mick? The bounce of the ball was beautiful. Hunt back on the inside. Geez, a competitor. I know he makes a few mistakes, Hunt. I'll tell you what, he's always in the action, always in and around the ball. That was a perfect bounce there for Norman. Back-to-back tries of the Dragons again.
It is an interesting tactical move from the Panthers, isn't it, to take the fullback Caleb Aikens out of the game.
Yeah.
He played 63 minutes last week. He's been busy, over 150 metres, but he's run 300 metres in NRL games in the past. And there's Lomax nailing the kick. Biggest lead of the night for the Dragons. Remember, they led 12-0. Oh, here we go. Oh. Yeah. He was off to the toot.
He was. He certainly was.
Or to crack a beer. You can crack one open now, and it'll taste a little bit better. There's work to be done. 15 minutes remain.
Well, the Panthers have had this wonderful knack of coming back in contests in recent years, so don't write them off yet. But the Dragons in complete control now, 10 points ahead.
Yeah, Brisbane and South straight after this. But we're being treated here at Cogra. 5 of the last 6 tries to the Red V. 46 points in this contest so far. There's a theory that perhaps low or no crowds might mean more points. Lack of defensive intensity. Last night there was a flurry of points in the first half, Canterbury and North Queensland, and then it dried up.
Jeez, he's been strong.
Fui Mona.
He has been a real handful.
A real point
edge
to prove. Didn't happen for him at the Panthers. There's Isaac Luke, the old master. He knew what he was doing. He gets a penalty. And the Dragons now can reload. And geez, they can almost put this out of reach if they can put a converted try on the board.
Yeah, he'll be a sore boy tomorrow. Young Luai trying to hold on to Tyrell Fui-Mayono all evening. 118 running metres and has just welcomed the opportunity that Tarek Sims has presented him with the 1-week suspension. Thrown a lifeline by the Dragons over the summer, and boy, has he taken it.
Well, they're missing a few. Tarek Sims, Corbin Sims, Ravalawa out. Cam McInnes, of course, is standing up tonight. They're already up to the 10. Luke, Hunt, Norman, Brazil at pace. Cleary down low with the grass cutter. Now Josh Kerr. They've stacked the right side here, where Norman looks from, that is the number 13, Blake Laurie. I was almost going to call him Merrin, the old Dragons number 13. Last tackle, huge play. As Hunt sends it on to Norman. Now the right foot kick. Brazil pouring through, but smart work from To'o. Straight to ground and stays in the field of play. And now Crichton is in trouble. Crichton is gone, but no penalty to Penrith. They lifted him up.
Yeah, well, that's one factor that Matt Chechen can get away with when there's no crowd. He wouldn't have got out of here alive if there was a full house here at Jubilee of Red V supporters. But rightly so, the penalty and a relieving one for the Panthers. Plenty of feeling in the contest.
So Penrith now 10 down with 12 to play. Now they can put points on in a hurry, but going to get a move on here. Luai, he's looked dangerous in the second half. Oh, and Vaughan with desperation work. Cleary. Tedavano back in the game. Up to the 20. 2 tackles left. Yo to Cleary. They love going to the left. Luai, Naden 2-on-2. Now Mansour cuts inside Hunt and is throwing a desperation pass. Kick out! Oh, you can't stop him from there. And the game takes another twist. They rode their luck, the Panthers. Well, once the big fella had it, he was always going to score. 28-22.
Yeah, again, this interchange of pass from the big men in the middle. Early ball out to Naden, who got the ball back inside to Mansour, who looked like he was going to score before we saw another Hail Mary from Josh Mansour. And if it's going to land anywhere, You want it in the hands of that man, Viliami. Kick out. Watch this. It's like boys playing men. Boom. Just get off.
Poor
just slams it down. Yeah.
Yeah, poor old Isaac Luke, a standing start against a big man like that. He tried his best, didn't he? Penrith have kept themselves in the game now. They've got to get down the other end. I thought when they were caught on their own line down the other end, they needed to get down there and score. They've done that. They've given us a chance to win this game.
They've given themselves plenty of time. 10 minutes. You fancy his chances from here, Cleary. 10 in from touch, but he's in good kicking form. So, 28-24. So, we're riding with the Jones family, and we have to take the good with the bad. There's kick out, slamming it down. Nice control, Mr. Jones.
Yes. There's the Dragons just walk back to the restart. That man kick out now has an opportunity with 10 minutes left. Only 4 points the difference. Got his side right back in the frame here. Boy, he needs a big 10 minutes, Viliami.
All right, this is a big kick. Taken in the in goal. Jerome Luai. What an influence Luai's starting to have on this game. He's won 6 out of the 7 games when he's been a starting halves player, Jerome Luai. Maybe you can have a final say in this game. So they don't need to panic here, Penrith. There is so much time to work with.
Thanks, James.
They left their run late last week. Now the inside ball, and Stephen Crichton into the backfield. Martin looms up, early pass, Martin to the 20. Now the pass back to Crichton. It's all good. The ref clears it. It's a try, and it's under the posts. Penrith are about to retake the lead. What a contest.
Oh, he's had it all tonight, Ivan Cleary. Boy, he's taken the good with the bad. And it's some brilliant halves play from his son, Nathan. Just watch this, over the advantage line, and just recognises that Frizzell hits the ground, slips over and finds a rampaging Crichton back through the midfield, who finds Martin in support, and then a Hail Mary over the top, right into the arms of Stephen Crichton.
A legal Hail Mary.
Yes.
Is it a legal Hail Mary?
Gee, I don't know about you boys. This kid, Stephen Crichton, reminds me of a young Israel Folau.
Yeah.
What about the support? The legs on him, so strong. Gets the ball back on the inside. Panthers go back to back.
Well, what a fortnight for Stephen Crichton. Came up with the match winner to knock over the reigning premiers, the Roosters, in front of a home crowd. And tonight, trailing on the inside of Liam Martin, could this be the match winner? Boy, you don't want to go to the Joneses. We do not want to go into the lounge room of the Joneses.
I think we do, Mick. I think that's exactly where we want to go.
Why have we got someone out of Penrith? Let's go to someone in Penrith.
Stephen Crichton, he said on the fan with Lara Pitt during the week that he watched last week's try maybe once or twice with a little nod and a wink to suggest he'd watched it over and over. I think he's going to watch this try even more times. Talk about the time left on the clock. There's still 8 minutes to go. A point-scoring feast. 30-28. Stephen Crichton, gee, looks good in full flight, doesn't he? 19 years old. Just his 6th NRL game.
He's off. He's off.
He wants to hurl it, doesn't he? He wants to let it go. The dog's gone, by the way.
Yeah, well, it might be a smart decision. The dog staying outside for the next few minutes.
The little one's gone to a room. We're riding with you, Jones family. Thank you for giving us access. We've all been there. All right, so Tedovano bringing it back here for the Panthers.
The positive for them, Dan, in the Dragons and Paul McGregor's side is the fact that every time they've been under pressure tonight, they've responded. You know, there's 7.5 minutes to go here, and they have had wonderful success at finding a way back into this match tonight when everything's been against them, as we see McGregor there biting whatever nails are left. But they're not out of this one.
10 tries, 5 apiece. Penrith have shown the ability to drop off as well, so Wouldn't be a shock if the Dragons had an opportunity before we're done. Oh, kick out. Boy, Mayano in the hunt, diving into the tackle. Cleary goes high, again making Dufty come forward. Oh, Luai with the spectacular jump. Then the lovely pickup from Yo. Now Martin, this is trouble. Faray pokes in the grubber. Here comes off bodies.
Well, what's the call here? Is this 7 tackles?
Monster call here.
Yes, it is. 7 tackles.
So not played at.
It was before he tapped, he called it.
A challenge.
He called it before the tap.
James, his challenge.
Well, this is the time to use it. 7 minutes to go.
What a time to use it. Matt Dufty about to take a quick tap.
Ash, we have a captain's challenge on the restart, a 20-metre restart.
Now, regardless of if they get that wrong, this is the perfect time to manipulate the captain's challenge.
Yeah, this was the fear coming in, that it could be manipulated that way. But I think this is a genuine challenge, Mick. I think they genuinely think they've got a shot here. So Williami's body in the way. Toto obviously gets his hand on it.
Well, he's allowed to use
Brian
his
Toto's
anyway.
foot is out, and then he makes contact with the ball in touch. The challenge is successful. It'll be a scrum.
Wow.
Well,
what a challenge that is.
They were adamant. Immediately they wanted to challenge
on
that.
the last tackle.
Even he's surprised, Brian Toto.
Well, it's turned from a 7-tackle set for the Dragons.
It's a handover, fellas. Got time off.
Oregon Toto is out.
Challenge is successful.
Mate.
Look at the reaction there from Brian.
Yeah. Stay square, fellas.
So a fresh set for the Dragons. So it's it's a successful challenge, McInnes.
Yeah.
But they don't get the ball back. It
That's
just
right.
takes a 20 and 7 to 10 metres and a 6-tackle set.
And now if they don't challenge that, Matt Dufty takes a quick tap with a retreating defensive line that wasn't set, and they get 7 tackles.
You see there, no change to the challenges. One apiece remain. If it was to go into golden point, they don't reset. They stay at where they are. So if you burn it early, you don't get any reprieve by going into golden point. There's Fui Mayono. Boy, he's been strong, well over 100 metres tonight. Norman and Merrin. Do you think Tamo was thinking about stopping the clock, Mick, and stopping Dufty when he called that challenge?
Yes, I do.
Well, that's an excellent call then, as it's taken by Crichton.
Up now, you're in 10.
Oh, Josh.
To hold any momentum. Absolutely.
Well, we've seen the Dragons' points have come off the back of momentum, haven't they?
He's been strong again. Came up with a really poor offload that led to a Zach Lomax try at the back end of the first half under pressure. But he's been strong tonight, Josh Mansour.
Good run from Coruscant, manipulating the markers who weren't square so they couldn't get involved. That gets Penrith now inside Dragons territory. So just controlling things nicely with the ball in hand, the Panthers. They've improved their completion rate after that mid-game slump. Luai's bomb. Oh, Lomax, an air swing. Tap back, that's trouble. Oh, and he falls on it, Zach Lomax.
Oh, he did well.
It was on the verge of being a catastrophe.
Okay, up now, fellas.
Got away with it there, Zach. Now Laffey got the energy to get it back the other end of the field. Laffey with the speculating offload to Williami.
This is Norman and Hunt's time. 4.5 minutes remaining.
Oh, Cleary racing up out of the line. Trying to get a shot on Frizzell.
Thanks, James.
Now it's spread out to Hunt. Laffey. Lomax. Mansour slides across. As does Naden. 4 minutes to go. Do they go conservative or do they try something? Well, that makes Hunt's decision easy. He's going to run it. And now he's gone. And his pass was too late. And He was caught in no man's land with that pass. He had to run.
It's all right. Last tackle.
And the Dragons, oh, how many more chances are they going to get as we look at a replay of Lomax? Jeez, he did well to get that back. If he framed a market once he touched that ball, he would have been the outsider to get that. Don't forget Broncos South right after this here on Fox League. This one, though, going down to the wire. Tedavano. Plenty of tackles here. Fisher Harris now for Cleary. Kick out.
Just need to finish in a corner here, the Panthers.
Cleary at the line again. Crichton. Martin overruns him. Crichton still goes. Oh, he wants to get rid of it too. Well, here we go. The Dragons have to get this back in the field of play. Cleary, the dribble kick. Oh, then he was shrugged off it by Host.
Nathan Cleary was taken out.
Penalty in front.
Oh, no.
And slow the clock down.
Cleary after the kick.
It will remain a one-score game, but the Dragons' task just became much more difficult.
Yeah, again, great patience from Nathan Cleary, just rolling it in. Boy, that's a tough penalty. We see them let go every week. That's a tough one. That's a...
Well, it wasn't his finest kick, was it?
No, it wasn't. But the mindset, Dan, is what makes him so in control at the moment of his own game, looking to build pressure.
Well, what's the alternative, boys? You can't just let him cruise through there. He puts a kick in. What do you reckon the coach would be saying to you?
Yeah, absolutely. That close to the line, given the way he ran the footy blocker in the first half and came up with the try, he was entitled to get his hands on him, Host, and it was a pretty minimal contact, to be fair.
Some nice manipulation work going on by Cleary. The young man might be 22, but he knows how to wind the clock down. Look at him line it up. You're next to the post, son. He's doing it perfectly here. It's all going to come down to this short kick for the Dragons off the kickoff.
Look at the physique there, Dan. Look how much he's developed in the 6 months over the pre-season. You can see the chest and the arms now starting to really grow into his body. The number of seasons in now. He looks terrific, Nathan Cleary, to start this season.
No, he adds to his tally. There you go, Josh Mansour. Gee, he always makes good meters. When he's in good form or
Turning
bad
back
form,
the clock.
He always makes good meters. By the way, we must thank Mick. We've had a lot of fun with Simon and Sarah Jones and the kids and the dog. Thank you very much for giving us your lounge room so we can ride the waves with you. And I'm told we're doing it again for the Broncos South game. The Nikas family,
Fantastic.
South Sydney fans, will be in the lounge room with them. So that's coming up next here on Fox League. Dragons have got it! A chance at the death as we enter the final minute. This is Billy Britton. Oh, what a finish. Graham. Inside the 20.
Could we be going to Golden Point for the first time in 2020?
Norman. Hunt. Luai raced in. Oh, he just held onto that, Ben. Oh, run around. Now Williami. They've looked good on this left side, the Dragons, but nice cover from the Panthers. 2 tackles left. A dropout is obviously no good to them. Oh, here comes Kerr, but the Panthers have got it with Crichton. And Penrith will win the game. It goes right down to the finish. But Stephen Crichton, you can't keep him out of it.
Watch out, fellas.
And now
Watch the grabbing, fellas.
a spot fire involving the former Panther Trent Merrin,
Try and keep contact for a minute, fellas.
who called the Panthers culture toxic, and he came back to Australia after he stint at Leeds. No love lost there.
Watch your contact, mate.
But that spot fire is put out. And the Dragons so close. They led by 10 but yet again they let a halftime lead slip. The Penrith Panthers, 2 wins and no losses for just the 3rd time in 14 years. What a terrific game this was, and the Panthers have won a seesawing clash, 32 points to 28.